under the Friday Night Lights for a teaching of numerology 101. We're going to start at 1 because 1 is the loneliest number, but I promise you we're going to go deep is further than your fingers and toes can count. That was a fucking god joke ever. What's up, everyone? I am your hostess with the mostest, the High Priestess Phoenix. I am your spiritual healer, teacher, shaman, seer, oracle, lightworker, starseed, earth angel, mystic, medium, psychic, witch, yogi, guru, evangelist, North American Sybil. I am getting a bunch of downloads here. Am your messenger of God, the first child of God. I am the Lilith reincarnated. I am in a place right now where I literally need to turn off my eyes. Why? Because there's so much shit popping out of that. What did you see? While I'm trying to read, I saw 17, then I saw Mercury, then I saw 4. I'm just like, all of these things are popping out at me. And then I'm looking down over here at astrology, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, it won't stop. Did it stop? Yeah, it did, for like 2 hours. It was cool. I had this like personal one-on-one healing session with someone where I got myself out of where I was, just putting myself into where they were and their situation, and I was able to pull out of the outer realms to be in the now, which was cool, and that was helpful, and that helped me ground it. But then I started, as soon as I got out of my car, I was like, oh, I'm filled with it again. Started to get overwhelmed, and I pulled this out, and we're just going to start with basic numerology. Metatron's language is numbers and symbols. In front of you is his language. Made easy. It's anything but. Did you know these numbers as symbols, as a language? Some people do. I see synchronicities, not in the shapes. The shapes are now something that we're going to be having blasted at us. And that's okay, because shapes are a form of sigils, signs, wonders, whatever. Number frequencies is one of the first things that happens during the awakening, is you start seeing patterns of numbers. They know, the spirit knows that, wow, I think this is going to be a lot deeper than that. They're showing me like DNA by number frequencies, like, oh God, slow down, colored by numbers. That's what they're showing me. They're showing me a person is colored by numbers, which makes sense because of our chakra system and all the rainbows. Taste the rainbow. Not helpful. Please help. Please stop. Okay. So, there's angel numbers. There's all these different numbers that people pull. But we're going to pull from my understanding that I'm being taught directly from Metatron. Nobody else is teaching me this. Who taught me this? I'm getting it directly from the source, the creator of this nonsense. Alright, a couple things that we need to point out right now is the planets that are aligned with these numbers. The sequence of the numbers. I need a card for you guys to look at. What's always that card? Where does card defined in the book? Get a plate. He's got it. Of course, we have to keep things, travel size around here. So I need to fit that in there. Okay, so the Kabbalah, the Tree of Life, Jewish mysticism. Again, we've been in this. All his creations, right? Okay. Old Testament teachings that still live today. Hermetic principles of alchemy, sacred geometry, down to basic astrology, and then we can go into science and medicine, math, all of it. It all can, and that would be all of it. And that's where I'm going in a little deep. He's like the creator of all these crazy things. We can read about Jesus' story a million ways in one book, but there's a million books to this guy. You know what I mean? I can bring out the holy books of, I can bring out the Bhagavad Gita, we can bring out the Quran. I'm still on my look for the Torah. You know what I mean? We're working through our understanding of the Kabbalah. We've got, the Book of Buddha, the Holy Bible broken down in 3 different books. This is just like where all the books, you know what I mean? These are all the other books. This is all the stuff outside of religion That's part of religion, is what we're going to understand, is what he's trying to make understandable. Okay, so simplistic things. Let's try to get some pointers in your head before I tell you what all these numbers mean. Right there, they have a basic understanding of the numbers, but we're going to go so deep that you're not going to remember what day it is and what number you were on. Your mind is going to choose, out of all the shit I put in it, what it deems is necessary. And that's where these readers come in and say, not all of this is going to resonate with you. Pay attention to what numbers and what things pop out to you. Before I get started, grab a piece of paper and a pencil. Why? Because this is how he talks to you. He's going to be talking to you as he's talking to me. But all I can do is really do the talking. So I can see what numbers are popping out to me. I can see what planets are popping out to me, what symbols are popping out to me. I need you to tell me, or I need you to write down yours. Why? Because it's a different connection. Where's that going to be? Hidden in your birth chart. You're tapping into a universal language that only you'll know based on your birth chart. Your astrological natal birth chart. Goes back to the planetary alignment. Got it? Okay. So, let's get started with number 1. Alright, there's that little symbol right there. This is the symbol. You got all that? The planet is the sun. Okay? So, in the Kabbalah tree of life, I'm trying to show... Oh, Jesus. Now we're in natal astrology, as I just said all this bullshit. Talk too soon. Give me a second. Let me see if it'll let me get back to where I was on that page. Maybe I didn't pull the page down. Hey, you. I'm trying to find the numbers in these freaking things. I'm pretty sure it was in this book. But the planets are. Do you see the planets? Alright, so I guess we'll just go off the planet. Alright, so here's the symbol of the sun. And the sun is where? Your solar plexus. It's in the middle of it. So 1. Alright? I'm just going to run through this with you. Okay, number 2 is your moon. Right? And then it's going to be the plus. Okay, so 1 plus 2 equals what? The triangle of 3. But we're actually going to end up, it looks like it goes... Oh, shit. It goes up. Maybe not. Alright, so then you go into Mars. And then your 4th one would be your... Look at how it's interconnected. I'm sorry, you can't see what I can see. That's not cool. Okay, so then, alright, look. So you go... Look, you're going down, and then you go up, and then you go down. And then 5, you would go up. And then 6... No shit. Do you see what it's doing? Wow. If it was in sequence, it was always in sequence, and we didn't know the sequence. Why? Because we travel through the tree of life, through our chakras, through our healing, but we don't go from top to bottom. We have to travel through it, or it travels through our energy. And that's how I try to explain to you. You have to work it through all of your, you know what I mean, your chakras to get it. And all your chakras, but it's not chaos. It's on a very specific path. Watch. 1, 2, right? And then how could it get from here to here? So that means we have to work through our pathways to get back up here. Now, when we get back up here, it says that we got to do what? Go back down, right? And then if you think about this as healing, you're trying to get up, but look how many times you get knocked down. I get up again. That's great. Then you go through your sun again, and you're over into Jupiter, number 5. Then you drop down, 6. All right? And then 7, you go back here, and you go back. It's always coming from right there, right? You see how it's working? But then these other symbols come in. Uranus wasn't part of the chart. And neither was Neptune. They're wild cards. Because they weren't part of the original cosmos. How do you know? Because that goes back to Vedic astrology. That goes back to ancient Egypt. They weren't part of the... They weren't part of the plan. The planets. What pulled them in? They would say something stupid like Earth's atmosphere or whatnot, but God positioned them. More energy. If you know anything about those two planets, Saturn was always part of this. How do you know? I'll show you. I have another chart. Bring out another one. Right here. Vedic astrology. Okay, this has to do with your natal chart, right? The Sun, the Moon, Jupiter, your North Node, Mercury, Venus, your South Node, Saturn, and Mars. No Neptune, no Uranus, no Pluto. You're like, how? I'm telling you. They weren't part of it. They came later. They're constantly discovering, you know what I mean, galaxies and things out there. Anyways, that's what I just noticed. And that's what we're supposed to be doing, is finding all this hidden information. So we're looking for the things that stand out, right? So 8 is Uranus and then Neptune. Okay, keep those in mind. Keep those symbols in mind. Why? Because it's sacred geometry. I told you, we pull these cards and they're just like, you know what I mean? It's just a symbol, but there's a whole language behind when we see that symbol. We're supposed to know when we see the 5, the star. And what do we know about the 5? I taught it in my last one. Fire, water, metal, what was the other one? Wood, and what's behind you, Hecate? Earth. Or it's the pentagram, which would be, you know, your 5 elements. But then you add the circle on it, and then what? Do you see what I mean? They're shifting and doing a bunch of shit. Okay, let's move on. We're trying to stay focused on the numbers and what the numbers mean. Alright. Existence of their own, and are merely observed by sufficiently intelligent mortals. And that was written by E.T. Bell, The Magic of Numbers. Okay, number guy. 2 of the first of even numbers, which are female and evil. And so it is the number of woman and wickedness. The characteristics allot to it are those traditionally associated with femininity, softness, sweetness, modesty, docility, subordination. 2 people achieve these ends by diplomacy and persuasion, because woman traditionally gets her way by artful persuasion and seduction. Woman plays a passive and receptive role in the copulation, and 2 is therefore the number of passive acceptance and receptivity, in the wildest possible sense, so that for a businessman, a 2-day is a good day for collecting accounts receivable. What is all this? Jeez, get ready. The strain of cruelty, malice, and deceit in the 2 nature comes from the number connected with the devil. 2 is most evil of numbers, and 2 pointed or forked objects are symbols of the devil, because 2 is the first number it breaks away from unity, and 1, or God. 1 is the number of God, and 2, which is 1's opposite, is the number of God's arch opponent. Early Christian writers noted that God did not see that it was good after a 2nd day's creation in Genesis. Medieval Jews were convinced of the danger of repeating an action twice. For instance, twice taking fire from the hearth when there is an invalid in the house. The unclean beasts went 2 by 2 into Noah's ark. but the clean beast went in by sevens, and St. Augustine, who was an accomplished numerologist, commented that clean and unclean animals are in the ark, as good and bad take part in sacrament of the church. That the clean are in sevens and the unclean are in twos. The bad again are in twos, as begin being easily divided for their tendency to Shurism. 4 inevitably is a grim and ominous number because it is even female and evil, and is made 2 of 2 ways, 2 plus 2, or 2 times 2. 4 is the number of solidity because 4 points are needed to construct the simplest solid. The tetrahedron, and according to classic medieval theories, began in the world to make in medieval theories, everything in the world is made of different proportions of 4 elements: fire, air, earth, and water, and characterized by different mixtures of 4 qualities: hot, cold, wet, and dry. The year is made of 4 seasons, and 4 months of 4 weeks. The story of Christ is contained in 4 Gospels. Rahl Galber, writing in the 11th century, connected the 4 Gospels, of which the divine message is composed within the 4 elements in which the world is made. He linked the earth to Matthew, because Matthew deals with Christ's incarnation in the earth form. Water with Mark, because he stresses the importance of the baptism. Fire with John, because the gospel is the most spiritual. And air with Luke, because he is the longest. 4 is the number of solid matter, and it is particularly the number of earth and a solid object bound by 4 cardinal points. People whose number is 4 are therefore solid and stolid, practical and down-to-earth pillars of society, in the same way that the earth supports the Ephesus of civilization, Stogy, and humdrum of the subject. Is that right? Humdrum? Yeah. I don't know. To fit the melancholy. Fog, mist, rain, outburst of violence, earthquakes, and eruptions. They are the toilers, farmers, gardeners, agricultural, and laborers, who work at hard, routine tasks for uncertain, often meager rewards. That's interesting. Based on a number, this is what your destiny is. It's kind of funny when you think about people running around there saying they're 10. The farmers, the gardeners, the agricultural laborers, who work hard, routine tasks for uncertain, often meager rewards. 4 is an unlikely number because of this connection with dull, lifeless matter and with early existence, which may late classical and medieval writers condemn as a gloomy, toilsome, sin-ridden affair with which man could escape only by death or entry into the joyous life of the Spirit. Jesus Christ. Why do I say that? It sounds like Bobby Brown. He's got like a blue-collar life. Sweat, misery, and defeat are the lot of man on earth and the lot of 4 people in numerology. What's a 4? Creation, growth, grounding, Mercury, reliable, consistent, trustworthy, loyal, cautious, organized, conservative. Pandemic, stubborn, obstructive, confronting, antagonistic. Sorry, I can't read that far. Righteous, erotic, grounding energy as the 4 seasons, 4 directions, 4 elements. Not compatible with 6, 8, or 5 people. Lucky gemstone is an emerald. Lucky days. Alright, what kind of person are we? I see Einstein and Plato and all this shit up there. Jesus, bro. Not right now. Founded in the mystery school of Crotona in 529 BC, his system of numerology is still practical today. Numerology holds the significant number in a life's connection, blah blah blah. These numbers, blah blah blah. Numbers as such as birth dates are reduced to a single digit, allowing profound analysis of the character and personality traits that remains intrigued to this very day. Numerology has practice in most cultures, brains, blah blah blah. Is that what we're doing? Somebody get a pen. I had a bunch of them on my desk. What did I do with them? Oh, there's one. Alright, let's figure it out. Write your freaking birthday out, people. Alright. So what are you supposed to do? You're supposed to add them together. So whatever your month is, add those two numbers together. What do you get? Alright, then you add the next one together. What do you get? Then you add the last two. Shit, do you think it's all four? It probably is. Okay, whatever. That's weird. What'd I get? 7. What'd you get? Spirituality, consciousness, Saturn, introspective, deeply felt emotions, searching, spiritual quest, over skeptical, withdrawn, lack of confidence. I don't think so. Inactive, what is that word? Fuck is that? So I don't know. Connection of the material and spiritual world, addition of the ethereal body. Not compatibles with 5, 6, or 8. All shades of blue. Lucky day, 7, 16, 25. Hut, hut, hike. Alright, Saturn and that sign. Saturn and that sign. Makes sense. And it makes sense because why? 7-11. Working through our Saturn all the time. Guess what tomorrow is? Saturday. You don't understand. It's a whole other language. Anyways, let's move on. Holy shit, we went from 4 to 7. Really? Yeah. 7 is the most mysterious and uncanny of the numbers of the one. I swear, it just jumped straight from 4. The last thing I read was, sweet misery and defeat are the lot of man on earth, and a lot of 4 people in numerology. Then it starts with 7. 7 is the most mysterious and uncanny of the numbers, and one of the most important in magic. Traditionally, the 7 sons of the 7th sun has magic power. 7 is not produced by multiplication of any of the other numbers, nor does it multiplied produce any other number in its first 10. It is unlike other numbers in this way. For example, 9 equals 3 times 3, 8 equals 2 times 4, 6 equals 2 times 3, 10 equals 5 times 2. There's nothing you can put together to make 7. And so on. So it is thought to be different from them, aloof, lonely, unable to communicate with them. It all that sounds like me. It follows that if your number is 7, you are solitary, cut off from other people, unable to explain yourself or your ideas. I think I did quite well. A mysterious importance of 7 is much older and much deeply rooted than the piece of numerological reasoning. The great Sumerian king, it's Lagalamadua. Remember we pulled the fucking spear of something earlier? Yep. Anyways, who possibly dates back to 2500 BC, built a temple in his city, Adab, and to the goddess Nitu. The temple had 7 gates and 7 doors, and when it was finished, it was dedicated with sacrifices of 7 times 7 fatted oxen and fatted sheep. Joshua and the Israelites marched around the walls of Jericho for 7 days, and 7 priests bearing 7 trumpets. And the 7th day they circled the city 7 times. And on the 7th time they shouted, the walls fell, and utterly destroyed the city. Revelations is one of the most popular books books of the Bible for centuries. It's packed with the number symbolism in terms of sevens. The number occurs 44 times in all. 7 seals, 7 trumpets, 7 trials of wrath, 7 thunders, 7 spirits. Before the throne, 7 gold candlesticks, 7 heads of the beast. Too many downloads. The significance of the 7 comes from the connection with the moon and the goddess of the moon, and that's where they say upon her head is a crown of 12 stars. And that's where this is all going to go to. It is a widespread primitive belief that the cycle of life, death, and death on earth, the birth, growth, and decay of plants, animals, and men, is connected with the waxing and waning of the moon as it goes through the endless cycles of birth and decay in the sky. The great classical astrologer Pauline, and I'm dropping the T because I don't know how to pronounce that shit. The moon, too, as heavenly body nearest to the earth, bestows her influence most abundantly upon mundane things, for most of them, animate and inanimate, are sympathetic to her and change in company with her. The rivers increase and diminish their streams with her light. The seas turn to her tides and sing with her settings. The plants and animals in whole, in some part, wax and wane with her. A modern American astrologer applies the same principle to human life. When the new moon comes in the being, all nature begins to renew itself. Are you renewing yourself in the new moon? Even you, I begin, and that's where it's like, what were you talking about, fucking Wolfman? Even you and I begin to gather new powers. It is nature's way for the new moon up to the full. She gives out her strength, and we are waxing strong with it until the full moon, from the full moon to the end. She is withdrawing her strength preparatory to giving it out again. And that's it. We empty. And I told you that. I go with the moon. I get full of inspiration. I feel it. And then I release it. And that's just how it is. We are waning in our own powers because of this withdrawal. The moon cycle is made of 4 phases, each lasting about 7 days. The Sumerians based the calendar of the cycle and the origin of the month of 4 weeks and 7 days each, with extra days added to cover the period at the end of each cycle when the moon is not visible in the sky. In Babylonia, each 7th day marked the day of a stage in the moon cycle, was sacred to Sin, the moon god, and these days were felt to be unlucky and uncanny. This is probably the origin of the Sabbath and the 7th day on which you rest, because it would be dangerous to do anything on a day which is uncanny. It is the moon rules, and that's why God tells me to rest on the moon day. I do all of God's work on a Sunday, but on a moon day he tells me I have to rest. Truly, he said it since the beginning. It was hard to break that pattern. If the moon rules life on earth with a cycle running in periods of 7, by as above so below reasoning, life on earth should be run in periods of 7, and according to occultists it does, and that's what I show you what happens in a 7-day week. I run with the planets of those 7 days. The human body renews itself every 7 years. And what did I go through? A 7-year fucking ordeal? Really? Yeah. My first twin flame. 7 years of that bullshit. Occultists maintain then the deceased runs in 7s. With the crisis in most illnesses come on the 7th, 14th, or 21st day. What did it say? 7th, 16th, 25th day. What's today? Anyways, just playing around. They might have their numbers a little off. Come on. Anyways, what did that say? Lasting about 3.5, half of 7 days. More importantly, menstruation in women which all human life depends on, occurs on a cycle of 4 to 7 days and lasts about 3.5 days. Occultist conclusion is that the number 7 governs the cycle and rhythm of life, birth, growth, decease, decay, death. For the same reason, 7 is the number of completeness. Each stage of human growth is completed in 7 years. Each phase of the moon is in 7 days. 7 of anything makes complete series. 7 planets are or were until all of the planets. 7 days make a whole week. There are 7 colors in the spectrum of the 7 notes of the music scale. 7 petitions of the Lord's Prayer. 7 deadly sins. 7 features on the human head. 2 eyes, 2 ears, 2 nostrils, 1 mouth. 7 orifices of the male body. Let's not get into ear holes. The characteristics of the 7 in numerology: deep wisdom, interest in religion and philosophy, a search for inner truth, secrecy, mystery. Follow from the occult significance of 7 as the number which holds the key to underlying rhythms of life. This is powerfully reinforced by the most obvious example of 7 as a number of completeness. The creation of the world in 7 days, according to Genesis. I tell you all the time, God created the world in 7 days. We can destroy it in this week. And He'll create us a new one by next week. Really? Work with Him. Which was essentially the creation of life. God finished His work in 6 days and rested on the 7th. The idea of the Sabbath and the rest and the reflection after toil and involvement appears in the numerologist's 7 nature of withdrawing from the world, introspection, and meditation. People whose number is 1 are leaders and pioneers. And a 1 year is a lifetime of new beginnings because 1 is the first number and leads to all the rest. 1 people dominate others. Get away from me. Because if 1 is added to any odd number, it converts it to an even number and vice versa. They have a great fixity of purpose and toughness of character. Because whether it is multiplied or divided by itself, 1 remains. 1, which is not true to any other number. Several modern numerologists say that 1 people are proud and stiff-necked because the symbol 1 stands erect and unbending. This is interesting. 1 is the number of God, the One, and stands for God and Father, the Creator, the original of everything in the universe, as 1 is the original number. On a scale from 1 to 10, what are you? The characteristics allotted to 1 people are very much those of Jehovah in the Old Testament: power and dominance, creativity and originality, determination, independence, self-assertion, refusal to cooperate with others or tolerate rivals. Sounds like a fire sign. 3 is the number of, it's interesting how we jump so far into these numbers. 3 is the number of creation because of theory. 1 alone, through potential creativity, is sterile. The word multiply has procreative meaning as well as the mathematical 1. And however many times 1 is multiplied or fertilized by itself, it still remains 1. 2 does not solve the problem, because 2 merely produces a pair of opposites. The 2 multiplied by 1 remains 2. The reconcile of the opposite and creates more numbers is 3. 3 is needed, so 3 times 2 is 6. Were God only 1. As Eliphas Levi explained, He would never be creator or father. He would be, I'm getting downloads. Hold on. He would never be creator or father, where he too were the antagonism or division in the infinite, which would mean the division also or death of all possible things. He is therefore 3, for the creation by Himself and in His image and the infinite multitude of beings and numbers. That's why it's the Trinity. God the Father, God the Son, God the Spirit. And there's always comes in threes because it's... I mean, it's funny as we said that because Metatron, the only thing that's really sticking in my head is that death card. And it said matter and antimatter come together in full destructive forces. So they're saying if you added 2 to 1, and they give this little example of 2 little dots, and you add them to 1, it's like 1 versus 2. It's interesting. It's a whole understanding in language that I'm just like, wow, this is interesting. Okay, anyways. He is therefore 3 for the creation by himself and in his image and blah, blah, blah. Lurking in the covets behind the theory is the sexual symbol of 3. 3 is the number to have a generative middle part. And 3, or the triangle, is a natural symbol for male genitals. Man's procreative equipment is threefold. I think it's... never mind. I was going to say something mean. And according to the principle of as below, so above, and the theory that God is man writ large, and flows that God is procreator of the universe, must also be threefold. Were God only one, he would never be creator or father, because one is erect phallus, alone is sterile. It says a lot about you, number ones. I am number 1, I guess. Erect and sterile. This is the... That's funny. This is the basic numerological interpretation of the Trinity and the threefold. 3 is a potent number because it represents the regenerative sexual force of male and the highest spiritual creative force through the connection with the Trinity. To the magician, these forces are one and the same. The regenerative power of man and the creative power of God are manifestations of the same force on different planes. 3 is used in magic in the hope of capturing the powerful creative force. Not surprisingly, 3 particularly effective in love, charms, and methods of finding the number of the girl a man should marry is the total of his first name plus the birth date and add 3. Fuck? Well, there's your break that code. The number 2 the number 2 sets up a pair of opposites and stands for antagonism, opposition, and the devil, the arch opponent of God. In magical theory, all progress comes through the reconciliation of opposites. The middle dot of 3. They're doing it in dots. Dot, dot, dot. So here's 2. And here's 3, and it's saying the middle. Links of the opposite of 2 reconcile them and transcend them into higher harmony, as in, it's showing the triangle now, for instance. So 3, what do I mean? So instead of the 3 dots lined up, it shows the dots like this. So 3 is the number of harmonious progress. If you're number 3, you progress easily and luckily through life, effortlessly gathering money and success along the way. Because 3 is the number of creation. 3 people have a strong urge to create and to express themselves, and they are so talkative and witty they make fine creative artists. This is backed up by the factor that 3 is the number of the triangle, the first plane figure, and is therefore the number of the surface. For any of you that are stressing your number right now, that's just what you start as. Why? Because you're not just a number, you're a symbol. Take it easy, Prince. We start out as just a basic symbol, right? 1 is the loneliest number. And then we're going to face 2 more. And then we're going to balance that. And as we take these symbols, it will evolve into crazy-ass geometry where we are eventually... we'll have mastered all the symbols and been fully interconnected with that. How does that work? The tarot. It's the same thing as the tarot. We take the journey through the tarot and we become the cards. We embody each and every single one of those cards. And we can pull the cards and I can tell you where I am in my energy based like that. We'll be able to do the same thing with our numbers and with our with our shapes. How? Let me show you. It starts. Their shapes. They start out just like you said. There's that fucking thing. The man beyond Orion's belt. That's a whole nother teaching, right? We start working through it. Do you see? Don't worry about the numbers. We'll work through our numbers. Why? Because we'll all reach a place of completion. Don't worry about your setting, what number you are right now. You're like, damn, I want to be a 6. I want to have financial freedom and creativity and be talkative. I am that too, aren't I? What am I, the Star of David? I mean, we're all in the juice. No. Terrible joke. We're going to move through this. It doesn't matter how you start the race. It's how we finish it. Do you think I want to spend the rest of my life in Saturn? Pushing my limits? I think I will, but that's not the point. Because I'll be in my Jupiter. We go through our Venus. We go through this. The wheel of life. You're not being denied something. You just started as something. We're going to grow that something. We're just going off a seed. Don't start becoming, you know, those kids. I want to be a 3. I want to be a 6. I'm a 7. Why do I have to be a 1? Bro, take it easy. You haven't even got started. I could just, you know, hear the kids. I don't like my number. Stop it. We can add that number to some more numbers and get real powerful, okay? Calm down. 3 naturally stands for everything that is best, most perfect, and most in Christianity, and most holy, because of the number of the Trinity, but also association of 3 in the superlative as much older doctrine. It comes out in Greek oh my gosh, guys. Trismegisto, Trice Greatus, superlative great, and the Latin, oh god, here we go with Latin, ter felix, trice happiness. Alright, the Pythagoreans called 3 the perfect number because it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Alright, moving on with the 3s. It just keeps going on for what a 3 means. Associated with 3, 3, 3, 1, 2, 3. Moving on past the 3s. All the numbers of completeness are important in magic because they indicate how many times an action should be repeated. Because 3 implies enough or all to chant the incantation 3 times is magically to chant it enough. The instruction of repeating a process 3 times is constantly found in the charm spells. 3 is sometimes combined with 7, another number of completeness. Kindly Nature History recommends 3 times 7 centipedes mixed in honey as a cure for asthma. I don't know what they're fucking talking about. Let's move on to 9. 9 is another magically powerful number because it reduplicates the power of 3. 9 equals 3 times 3. A book on medicine written about 400 AD gives the following cure for stomach upset. I'm not reading all this. Alright, say the word 9 more times against 9 more times and give the total of 3 times 9 repetitions. I don't know. A sinister measuring charm is recommended by the Renaissance magic Cornelius Agrippa. Take a body of a dead man. Nope, we're doing weird shit again. 9 is the number of completeness because a human child is conceived, formed, and born in 9 months. 9 completes the series of essential numbers. From this point of view, 10 is merely a reinstatement of 1. That's it. Completion is beginning. Also, 360 degrees makes a complete circle, and 360 reduces to 9. Ovid says that Fasti, that in Rome, the certain days in May, the ghosts and the dead were believed to return to their old homes. To expel them, the head of the house, after midnight, washed his hands in water and walked through the house, throwing black beans, behind him, saying 9 times, I cast, and with these beans I redeem me and mine. Whatever. 9 stands for great spiritual and mental achievement in numerology. Because it is the last and highest of the numbers from 1 to 9, and so it denotes the highest qualities. 9 people are really 3s writ large. Interesting. With the higher characteristics of desire to serve humanity in a place of self-serving ambition of 3. 9 is the number of initiation and the end of one stage of spiritual development and the beginning of a new one. Because it is the last of the units and it is followed by the first of the 10s. For some reason they're trying to show me Roman numerology, but I don't know it yet. And they're throwing all these fucking X's and V's and I's at me. All eyes on me. Not right now, Pop. It's not helping. I love you. The 9 nature may be egotistical because 9 is an egotistical number. It always returns to itself. When 9 is multiplied by any other number, the answer invariably adds to 9. 2 times 9 is 18, which adds to 9 times to 9. What do you mean? 1 plus 8 is 9. 3 times 9 is 27. 2 plus 7 is 9. That's what it goes on and on. And for all the numbers up to including 9 are added, the total is 45, which again adds to 49. 6 is an even female number, but escapes the unluckiness of the other even numbers because it is perfect. A perfect number in which equal sums of proper divisors other than itself. The proper divisor of 6 apart from itself are 1, 2, 3. 1 plus 2 plus 3. And Nicomachus in the 1st century AD knew that 6, 28, 496, and 8,128 are perfect numbers. The next one was, what is this number? 33,550,326 was apparently not discovered until the mid-15th century, because addition and multiplication of this component part both gave the same answer, 6, and regardless has a balanced, well-integrated, harmonious number, not torn by internal conflict. And so the 6 nature is balanced, well-adjusted. They're trying to remind you that 6 is the frequency of love. And for whatever reason, they fear it. Contented and placid. The tranquility and comfortable quality of 6 is strengthened by the factor that 6 is a number of female love and domestic. I can't say the word. This is because 6 is made up of the first feminine number 2 multiplied by the first masculine number 3, and the love of woman is multiplied, fertilized by a man. 6 is the number of the marriage, family, home, because traditionally female sexuality is legitimately expressed only in marriage. It stands for the perfect mother and housewife, and 6 people are faithful, affectionate, reliable, wrapped up in a home and children, efficient and hardworking. 6 days shalt thou labor, neat and tidy, conventionally, gossipy, and it must be confessed, sometimes a little dull. They may be extremely successful in their arts because they have a creative power of 3 twice. I've done this for an hour and I can't do any more. Serious? Yeah, I'm hungry and tired. It goes on for 2 more pages. And we're really just touching the beginning of it. Really? Yeah, so I'm going to stop there. Now, I know I gave you random numbers. They didn't go in order. As you've seen, they did not. Jesus Christ. He had me start on that, but he had me start on the numbers revealed. After the chapter right before it is the roots of numerology. We're all over it, guys. I have to take a break. Why? Because it's not just words coming out of my mouth, it's coming out of my soul. They're just words that are going in your ears, maybe in your eyes, but probably straight out of your body. They're suffocating me, these numbers and sequences. So as I read them, I'm getting more information to go behind them. Yeah. So as much as I'm trying to unload this, I'm getting more. As much as I'm trying to give you, I'm getting more. It's just leading to more. It's one of those never-ending workloads. Like, I just went through all of this only to find unbelievable work. It's just a lot. I need a break. You're gonna be okay. Yeah, I'll be okay. I'm just exploding with knowledge, or with cosmic knowledge and wisdom. They say if I had a sex partner, I could get rid of this a little bit easier. Just imagine me blowing a universal load on you. Oh, God. Working on my sexual alchemy among all alchemical fucking transformations we're having here. It wouldn't be a Lilith video if we didn't end on a sexual note. With that, what are you? An alien, basically. You're human, but only by the context of the skin you wear. And if you think like most humans, then you have a mass consciousness, a big fat brain that was piled the same information as your peers. Genetic makeup, your universal fucking barcode is what I heard. That's crazy. Semi-genius, mostly just I've been saying that since the beginning. I didn't think I was gonna have his mind. I feel it, dude, where it's like, dude, just give me a meal and a straw right now and push me around the room. No disrespect. No disrespect, bro. So as we work this, we work through obviously the scales of it. We start out as a single number, right? And then we work through these, and that's even the card numbers. That's what they were saying, the tarot card numbers. So 6 is the number of the lovers or something like that, right, tarot man? Something like that. And that would make sense because Venus, Jupiter. Makes sense, right? We're trying to bring it all together, but it's just, I feel like that meme of that guy, I'm gonna see it. It's like a meme. I don't know if it's from like Office Space or something. It's just a meme, and it shows him with all these conspiracy theories. There's like a million fucking little fucking, you know, sticky pads and graphs and all these lines connecting it, and he's like, you see? That's what I feel like right now, bro. I didn't mind, you know, this is beyond witchcraft. This is far beyond Christ. I can't keep my eyes open. This is so, and my stomach is burning so bad. Oh my gosh. Be careful what you wish for. The essence is like, I can't turn it off. All I can do is unpack it. And the more I unpack this, the more I'm unpacking the universe, is what it feels like. And it's having one explosion inside of me. Come here, let me touch you. I can feel the spark of genius here. Alright, so how much of that did you take in? I tried to give as much as I could, and there's so much to give. I'm a 7. You add your numbers together, people. So what's your birth month? Mine is November. Right? So you take that. So I take 11. Right? 1 plus 1 is what? 2. Put that aside. And you take your birthday. What's that? That plus that equals what? Put that aside. And then that's where I got stuck. Are we supposed to use just the last 4 digits? Or all 4 digits? And then you have to take that. I'm pretty sure all of you were born in 19-something. 1 plus 9 is what? Okay, put that down. And then what year? Put those together. Now drop it down. Drop it like it's hot. That's not helpful. Now start adding those across again. And fucking breaking them down. Until you get a singular number. What I get? I got 7. What do you get? That doesn't mean shit. Really? Yeah. Yeah, motherfuckers. That really doesn't mean shit. That's just your number. What's all this? Well, there's your life path number, which is you to reduce your number down to a single digit. There's master numbers, right? The numbers 11, 22, 33, 44 are considered master numbers and carry special significance in contrast to other numbers. These numbers are not reduced to a single digit. Maybe I wasn't supposed to reduce my numbers. I had multiples. Okay, I'm confused now. Anyways, alright. Now, based on those numbers, we know a little bit about ourselves. So, I said I was a 7. Analytical and spiritual, secretive and selfish. Fair enough. I'll take that. Numerology for each year. So, Jesus Christ, they fucked with my numbers. For each year, if we're just going off the year then. That's interesting. Why do we need that? You need your destiny number and how to conversion your chart. That's going to be your fucking alphabet. You have to take your name and turn it into a number. And that breaks down to a number. Your soul urge number, also called heart's desire. Your personality number. About Betty Sue. Whoever the fuck that person is. I can't worry about you. I'm trying to figure out what this means for me. And that's where it is. This is getting deep where you have to pay attention to your own symbols, your own numbers, your own number frequencies. This is just a lot deeper than what I taught. I have it in a book in my White Light Oracles that teaches you these number frequencies. It's not as big and deep as this, but we're going into a full language. And that's it. We only learn the curse words. We learn the surface level of this language. Si habla español. ¿Dónde están el baño? Me llamo Lisa. You know? Where's the bathroom? I speak Spanish. Where's the bathroom? My name is... What? My name is... You know what I mean? Stuff like that. We barely touch the surface of it. And this one runs real deep. Again, they said that they were able to use number sequences to find codes hidden in the Bible, bro. These numbers are connected to the planets, a planetary language that runs through the tree of life as well, which is part of, all teachings. These numbers make shapes when put together, and those shapes are seen in Hindu teachings, down to all of the sigils and symbols, the crucifix. Is a basic what? 2? Right? Is that not the Star of David? Don't they have some moon and shit? I just want to point out my sigil. I'm trying to figure out where to write this on. That's safe. My sigil is this. Oh, I messed it up. My hands are fucking